How's it going, everyone? My name is Min, and today I'll be providing you guys a little bit of a recap on how today went. Um, just having to look at the overall market, we actually went from 371s down to 19960s. Basically faded out through the entire day, and the reasoning behind all of this, there wasn't any significant news of some sort. It's just like a little bit of like a liquidity grab in a way, and also all the buyers are finally selling on their positions, which is why it caused a downshift here. But what really started basically everything that you see today, um, just checking out the daily, we actually have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles in the green, and rarely do we ever get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then usually on the sixth or the seventh day, we would get like a daily candle to the downside. This one over here, we actually pushed 8 days in a row, and it was as expected that we would get some sort of pullback. The market can't always just go up. There's always got to be like a liquidity shift. So there's always got to be enough buyers and sellers out there. Otherwise, the market can't always go up, right? And also based on the history, also from previous trends on TradingView, there's also rarely any days where we actually have 8 in a row. So this is why, with like a thesis in mind of why the trend actually acted the way it did, and it was a short market, and we can actually take a look here during pre-market around 3:30. The trend was actually already showing its hand basically on like what it wants to do. Right around like that 3:30 mark, we started actually our algorithm clearly changed after pumping up overnight, and started printing lower highs and then lower lows, and then was consistently doing that. We started consolidating, but with no avail. There was no proper um, shift in the trend to the upside, and then we started continuing around 640 in the same manner. So eventually, there's always something to consider, the fact that this is a downtrend, and there's like you can definitely see that over here around 330 we were downtrending a little bit, consolidated, then we started downtrending again. This was a very great example of what to do when you're shorting the market. So as the market comes back down, and you always want to wait for that pullback, because or I guess you could say pop to the upside, especially when we already saw the pattern of overnight. You always want to be shorting right along, um, below the VWAP, as well as like perhaps above the EMAs, to get the best position of risk to reward in. Of course, like this trend could easily keep on pushing towards the 70s, but in theory, you just have to wait for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, a quadruple red candle setup, and then taking a short just right when it breaks the open, right below the open here. So that would have been a good position to take short, which I took personally, and we had strong sellers first thing in the morning too, so we were gonna definitely get some sort of fade back into the lows here around support, rebuild it. There was no structure exactly, so this was not just a V shape of any sort, right? If we came back down to this level though, around 202s, usually the market would actually shift to the upside. You would be able to see some sort of consolidation, and then it would actually push back up if it was a bullish market. But in this case, we actually just ended up breaking the low. And you would think that this has like some sort of stops, but however, there was no real resistance at this, real support at this price. So it just kept on falling below. The reason why it bounced at this level is because of yesterday, or on Wednesday, we actually printed a all-time low during open on June 18th, and we hit that low, and that was basically used as a reference point. But even so, like I feel like it could have easily broken right through that as well. So having to buy at this point was fairly risky. Um, and even if you got a nice long position, you probably wouldn't even know where to exit exactly. So we would always watch the trend play out here. When it starts reaching the highs again towards the VWAP, We want to watch like how the pattern plays out, and as you can see, it started selling off again in a gradual manner, just the same as over here. And then you would have been be able to short the fade basically for this pattern, and of course it started downtrending one more time. It broke that level very quickly. For example, like right there, um, this could have easily happened too. It broke right through and then actually bounced back up. We would never know. So it's not good to actually go long in a trend like this, especially when the sellers are showing themselves basically, because you're gonna end up getting into a bad position, especially going long. Um, you could have easily gone long over here, over here, over here, especially when there was some sort of buying pressure. But as you can see, it fell further, and then having to use the previous reference to go long. That's not a guarantee either. It could have easily just broke right through that as well. So, but once it started pushing higher in large candlesticks like this, there is a good chance that you could have taken like a stab at long here, but it's just something that it's fairly risky, considering the fact that like all it's doing basically through since the beginning of pre-market has been selling off. So uh, easily could have gone to this point, rejected off of that, come down to another low, print another lower low, and then basically come back up. But in this scenario, we bounced. We got to a nice consolidation area. If it broke above that, this would have been a nice bull trend, but it did not. So you wanted to short the trade, especially when it started curling and doing a little bit of an algorithm print, just the same as overnight session. And we got a little bit of a perk, retested that consolidation, like for example over here, retested that consolidation just as much as over here. We retested that consolidation, and of course it rejected, just in exactly the same manner as it did over here. So afterwards we started pushing to the lows, and this market was coming back up. We could have shorted there, and it was definitely coming back to the support at some point, just because we already know that the sellers are in control at this price action from pre-market. Right after it got to this level, it just broke right through. No questions about that. Really quick, fast selling, large candlesticks, no wicks especially. Um, in fact, it's a wickless. There's only small wicks, which indicates that there's still strong sellers. And yeah, but once we started, seeing prints of large buying here, this is where we want to consider, right when it gets to this point, going long. This was, fairly more reasonable because it printed a double bottom, had some buying here, came down, strong buyers came above it, came back down, would have been a good entry to get long, and then hold a tight stop loss just right underneath of it to get a nice scalp. And then it started printing out a pattern. This pattern uh, did something like this, and yeah, this was the reference point basically to that pattern. Uh, and we hit a previous low. Um, a bit back. Yeah. Started hitting a little bit of a consolidation, like the breakout range when buyers first push it higher, and that's why it bounced. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Um, there's not much to really see on days like this. It's really just about shorting it, and then nearing the end of the day, you can consider going along, and that's the general pattern that we always see. And yeah, appreciate it. If you guys enjoy this video, feel free to like it and subscribe and leave a comment if you guys have any other questions. Thank you.